Hydraulic pedal manufacturers are lying to you guys. They're telling you guys that hydraulic pedals are better just because they're hydraulic, and that's not the case. That's actually not true at all. You see, there's a lot of hydraulic pedals that are offered on the market from ours here at Sim Coaches. There's other brands that make them, like Sim Magic makes pedals. There's a bunch, there's a couple. But I'll tell you, if you find a hydraulic pedal set that is just using regular coiled springs or polyurethane bushings, then that hydraulic pedal that you're using is completely a scam. It's not doing anything for you. I want to show you guys what we do here at Sim Coaches, and the reason why, if you have a hydraulic pedal set on your simulator at home, why you need to change those springs that are actually on your simulator to something like what we're using. So come on over here, check this out. This is our hydraulic pedal set that we manufacture. Now, what you'll see is right here on the side, we have our slave cylinder, and this is really where all the hydraulic pressure is built up. We have a hydraulic pressure sensor right here, and that goes into the throttle, and the throttle has the electronics in it that then talk to the computer, and that's where we get all the pressure from. Well, here on the shaft is actually where you put the medium that the hydraulic pressure is going to compress. And see, now this is actually where the value of hydraulic pedals are at. Because since hydraulic pedals create so much pressure when you get on the pedal, you can really put a really stiff medium here on the shaft. If you use a polyurethane bushing or you use a coil spring, it's just not going to give you optimal results. You see, a coil spring, you're limited to the spring rate of the spring that you're using. So if you want a harder one or you want a softer one, you have to change the spring out, and you have to try to find a spring that matches the feeling that you want. It's really not the proper way to do it. What we do here is we use these washers. They're actually Belleville washers. And what we do is we put two of them together and they create a pack. Now, since each one of these bevel springs are individual, you can actually mix and match a bunch of different thicknesses on this shaft with one another. And that dynamically changes the way that the pedal feels.
If you guys are interested in our hydraulic pedals or a simulator for your house or your business, text us at 702-246-2295.
Because we also have a bias knob on here, you can add pressure or take pressure away with the bias knob, and that again is going to change the way the pedal feels. Now, since you're changing them out per washer, you actually have a very, very fine amount of adjustment that you can do. So you can change this pedal to, let's say, get to 800 PSI at max pressure. You can make it go to 820 PSI at max pressure. You can make it go all the way up to 1600 PSI. But with each one of these little springs that you swap out and adjusting the bias knob, you can actually really, really change the pedal pressure very granularly. So instead of making a big change like a spring pressure change or spring rate change where it goes from soft to very hard and it's a huge jump from one to the next, you can literally just change one of these little packs of springs out, put it on the shaft, and now let's say you make 100 PSI more pressure. So this is really valuable for racing drivers, because racing drivers, when they're on the simulator, they need their simulator to feel as realistic as possible. It needs to feel just like the racing car that they drive on during the, their weekend when they're racing. Otherwise, the simulator, the practice that you're doing is almost kind of, say, wasted, because if the practice that you're putting here in the simulator feels nothing like the car that you're actually racing in real life, it just doesn't have as much value. So I want to tell you guys, when you're looking at hydraulic pedals, it's actually incredibly popular that you look for two things, okay? The first thing that you want to look for is, what are they using here on the shaft? Are they using these bevel washers like we are here, where you can actually get very granular, where you can actually maximize the ability of what the hydraulic pedal can do? Or are they using springs or polyurethane bushings? If they're using springs or polyurethane bushings, probably you should be going to check something else out, because really the springs or the polyurethane bushings, you might as well just stick with a load cell pedal at that point, because you're not even maximizing the fact that it's hydraulic pressure. You need something that's way stiffer. Number two is you want to look at what cylinder it is that they're using on the side. If they are using a Willwood master cylinder here on the side of their hydraulic pedal, then it's for sure going to leak fluid all over your floor. How do we know this? Because we used these in the past on our very first version of our pedals. We used that same piece of hardware. So you want to find a manufacturer that makes their own hydraulic cylinder for the pedal. And this is important, because then you'll know that that cylinder was specifically made for sim racing, okay? Our cylinder here was pressure tested to hold up to 2000 PSI inside of this cylinder. We only have a 1600 PSI pressure sensor on it. So basically that gives us 400 PSI of headroom that the cylinder can hold that the pedal won't actually see. This is what you want. These are the things that you want to look for when you're upgrading to a pedal set. Now, hydraulic pedals truly are the best of the best. These are the ones that we can make feel like the pedals that are right there inside of our race car, because we're not trying to mimic anything here. We're literally just using the parts that are inside the car already, and we're just putting them on the simulator. And then we're just grabbing a pressure sensor or pressure reading from how much pressure is actually being made inside the cylinder, okay? This is the best pedal set that you can get. Hydraulic wins every single time. Anybody that comes in here, even the guys that have the SimiCube active pedals that come in here and they talk to us about our pedals, they all love it so much because of just how realistic and everything feels, okay? So keep that in mind. When it comes to hydraulic pedals, there's the two things we need to look for. Number one, we need to look for what spring set are they using? Are they using springs, polyurethane bushings, or are they using a Belleville spring setup? So really there's those two things that we need to be aware of when we're trying to buy the hydraulic pedals. Number one, the spring sets that we're using, are they using polyurethane bushings, springs, coiled springs, or are they using bevel washers like this? Bevel washers will be the best because it's the most adjustable. Number two, what hydraulic cylinder are they using on the side of the pedal? Is it the one that's a Willwood cylinder, just like what's used in a car? You would think that's good, but the problem is the Willwood cylinders don't have nearly enough seals in them. If those leak out on the street, it's not a big deal because it's leaking on the asphalt. The problem with it doing that inside your house is you do not want this to leak on your floor, in your kitchen, your living room, wherever it may be, okay? So what cylinder are they using? What springs are they using? And if you nail those two things down right there, you make sure that's the proper springs and it's got a good seal on the pressure, you're gonna be in a good spot. You're gonna love your pedal set, and it's gonna be quite a big upgrade from what you're using now, okay? So with that, guys, I'm gonna get out of here. I appreciate you all. Please ask me some questions down inside the comments here below, which videos you guys wanna see next, and then we'll go from there. We'll talk to you guys later. Peace out.